Okay, crew, we're returning once again, and we're going to learn how to actually begin our first site. So what we did was we managed our site layout by setting up some folders. And if you remember right, we named our site and then we redirected a folder within it called images. And when we did that within here, we ended up with a folder on our desktop that was called um, the name of our site or our site layout, and in it is that folder. And anything that we create or establish from this point on is going to be within our site location, right over here. Or um, we could actually, if we change our view to developer, would be same thing, but over on this side, okay? We're gonna stay in standard view for now. And not that either one's different, it's just that I think standard view for you guys is going to be easier to follow. So as you notice, we have the ability to begin things. We can create something new, or we can go ahead and open something that already exists. But we don't have anything to open right now because we've just got a folder that's managing our site, and in that is this thing called images. So we're going to create new. And when we do that, if you see, we have options. We can start brand new pages in HTML, which is what our language of the web is. CSS is called, that stands for Cascading Style Sheets. And it's what lets us make images and fonts and create like patterns in those that we then attach to our pages and directs how things are going to look. So it's kind of it's the zhuzhy part of web design. And then you have other languages. Notice that these are, I could talk about each language and what it does, but to be honest, the ones that you would be most familiar with would be JavaScript, which allows us to create movement within content, PHP, which lets us especially create forms, input, and reactions. And at PHP, and these are templates that you can choose. Notice that we're creating an HTML5, which is the highest level or the most current level of the coding language that we have. So notice that we can start a new document, which would be a new one of these pages to begin within our site. And that's what web developers do. But I just want you to learn about how HTML works. So we're going to cheat the system in that we're going to choose a site template, right? Let me go here. Let's go starter template. We're going to choose a starter template. And if you notice, you've got these things that let you set up. One's called Bootstrap, and Bootstrap is just a form of language. We're going to start with the basic layouts. We're going to choose a single page, okay? Basic layouts, single page. Now, if you look at the other pages, they've got all kinds of things, and we may use this one or this one for our secondary page if you wish. But we're going to start with a single page. This is going to be our splash page that we're going to call index because that's how servers see things. And we're going to begin. So I'm going to hit that. I'm going to choose that. I'm going to create it. Now what it does is it launches the page for us. And you could actually see based on here like how wide it is. Notice it's untitled. Notice it's not here yet because I haven't saved it there. Here's the important thing, so this doesn't freak you out. If you look up here across the top, I have different views. First, I have code view. That is what that page that we just looked at, what is the code behind it looks like. And before you get all panicky and think this is just above me, because this, when we tend to look at this, our heads spin, but it's really not that scary. And you're not going to have to design in this, but I just want to show you how simple this is to understand. Notice at the top, we've got a bracket, and then it says HTML language, English US bracket. So it's defining what the page is going to be written in as far as the language goes, okay? Notice it's got a head for header. Anything between brackets is what's called a tag. And a tag is a command. And you get to create a command and then tell it what you want the command to do. It's just pretty much that. Notice that we have right here, it says link. That means we're creating a live link. Okay. Notice that you've got tags that have, href is a color code, and then it's got words. And I'm going to show you how simple that is in a minute. But here's a split view. So here's what the website looks behind. Okay, let me give you, just to go to live, let's go to live view. So this is what the splash page looks like. It's got some text, it's got some visuals, and it's got some holding spaces for us to put content, but it's pretty generic. And it's got text. It's got navigation across the top. This would be a banner. This would be text. This would be more content with a title. Again, image with graphics. And if you notice how the graphics move, this would be a space to hold like an image or more content, and then more text. And then this is a footer at the bottom. Okay, so that's just a template, like we can modify it. In fact, that is your job. We're going to modify this. But I'm going to go to where it says split mode. And if you notice that, now I can see the code and this. Let's say this is my opening page. I kind of like the colors. Maybe I don't. But I can change any of this. Let me show you how easy it is to change. Let's say I know my assignment is to have this splash page, a main page about my content. And then I have to connect to another page that I also build. So let's say I know I'm just going to have 2 pages instead of 3 up here. I'm going to have this page, my home page, and maybe I want this page to about, maybe I'll keep the name, but I don't want this contact page. I'm going to click on that, and if you notice, when I do that, it takes me right to, let me try this again. Right to that thing on my page. Look, there it is. I don't want that. In fact, I'm going to be real careful. Notice it's on line 30. I'm going to get rid of it. Looky, live view. I no longer have that. And let's say I want this about to be called, let's say my page is going to be about it's about Dink's World. So I'm going to put I want it to be in all caps because my other stuff's in that. So I'm going to change this link to Nerd Power. Notice all I did was change the wording between these 2 inverted content. And when I did that, it changed it. I mean, that's what I did. And now that's what that's going to be. Now, I haven't created a link there, and I haven't done anything further, but I just want you to see how easy it is to modify. But you're going to have to learn that process. The key is learning how to change the content, learning how to save that content, and go from there without destroying things. That's going to be the fun part. But I just wanted you to see a little bit what it looked like. We're going to save this splash page into our site because it's going to be the major opener. So I am going to come here to File, Save As, and notice it's being fed to my directory. It knows that it's going to go into this folder, this Dink World folder, and it knows that it's going to be this part of this page, and my page is going to be called .html. I want this to be called index, not all caps, lower caps, INDIX, because a server would look for this page. And then I'm going to save it, and boom, look, there's my page in my website. Notice that it automatically has a cascading style sheet that goes with it because it's got a design and a font and chosen and a color pattern already. I'm going to modify some of that, but I have that. So I've got my first page in my site. Okay. Any other pages I want to add, I can come up here to, let's go to File. Oh, let's go, I want Insert. Let's go to File. New. Again, Starter Template. I'm going to choose a second page. Create. And I'm going to save that one. Save as. I'm going to call this page 2. Now that page is never going to show up, the name of that, in my site. I'm just going to know what it's called. And when I save it, boom. Now I have a website that has an index page and a second page. That's what I have to have. And my job is going to be to design my index page and my second page so that they're color coordinated through my CSS, that the content from one page leads to the next, that this second page is linked through my navigation bar, right? So that when I run it in a browser, it works. And that's the name of the game. So at least we're beginning. We have a site, we have an image folder, we have a page, a splash page called index, and we have page 2. And if we look on our website, do you see them here? Just like we created, because that's what you should see too. All right, we're going to stop here for today, and I wish you luck.